of different drugs, then pharmacokinetics of inhaled agents in part 1, and the mechanism of anesthetics in general, side effects of general anesthetics, followed by the advantages and disadvantages of the individual drugs which are given by inhalation, and the IV drugs will be discussed in part 2. Starting with the history, the discovery of the first anesthetic agent was ether in 1842 by Crawford Long. Then chloroform was introduced by James Simpson in 1847, followed by nitrous oxide discovery by Horace Walsh. Then cyclopropane was discovered in 1929, halothane in 1956, and followed by thiopental, the IV agent. By the definition, the anesthetic drugs are drugs causing reversible loss of consciousness. They depress the nervous system. The anesthetics cause loss of all sensations. Especially required is the loss of pain sensation, loss of memory, loss of autonomic reflexes, and some degree of skeletal muscle relaxation. The general anesthetic drugs alter responses of the CNS. They cause one or more of the following, which are required. These four actions are required by the general anesthetics: pain relief, muscle relaxation, relaxation of the reflexes, and deep sleep. The general anesthetics are commonly used during surgery. The principles, the goals of general anesthesia are: number 1, to minimize the potentially harmful direct and indirect effects of the general anesthetic agents and techniques. Number 2, to sustain physiological homeostasis during surgical procedure during anesthesia. And number 3, to improve post-operative outcome, post-operative events. The effects of general anesthesia on the different systems of the body. The hemodynamic effects: these drugs decrease systemic arterial blood pressure. The respiratory effects: these reduce or eliminate both ventilatory drive and reflexes and maintain the airway open. Then hypothermia, they decrease body temperature less than 36 degrees centigrade. They can cause nausea and vomiting by stimulation of chemoreceptor trigger zone, and they cause the physiological changes in different systems of the body. The stages of anesthesia. Depth of anesthesia is divided into these 4 stages. Number 1 stage is analgesia. This stage extends from administration of the anesthetic drug to the loss of consciousness. Analgesia is produced before the loss of consciousness. Though the minor surgical procedures like abscess drainage can be carried out during this stage, but routine use of this stage is not recommended for the surgery, as it is very difficult to maintain this stage. Then stage 2, stage of delirium or excitement. This stage follows stage of analgesia. This stage extends from loss of consciousness to the beginning of the stage of surgical anesthesia, stage 3. In this second stage, the person becomes excited. There is increased muscular activity, rapid irregular respiration. Patient becomes amnesic. Retching and vomiting may occur. Some of these manifestations are due to the release of lower centers from inhibitory control of the higher centers due to cortical depression. Pupils in this stage get dilated, and there is marked hypertension due to the release of adrenaline in this stage. The efforts are made to decrease the duration and severity of this stage, but it happens. Stage 3, which begins with the recurrence of regular respiration and extends up to the complete respiratory depression. It means the things get reversed after the stage 2 is over. In stage 3, skeletal muscle relaxation occurs, blood pressure is reduced, pupils are dilated and fixed, and all reflexes are abolished. This stage is suitable for surgical procedures, and this is the stage which is tried to be maintained during surgery. Number 4 stage of medullary depression. This is characterized by severe depression of vital medullary center. The respiratory depression is accompanied by vasomotor collapse. Without full respiratory and circulatory support, death rapidly occurs. So, we try not to reach this stage 4, which is dangerous and which can lead to the death of the patient. Mechanism of action in general of the general anesthetics. The inhaled agents and most of the IV agents all depress spontaneous and evoked activity of neurons in many regions of the brain. General anesthetics have common property of increasing the threshold of action potential. With an increase in the threshold, the neuronal activity is decreased naturally. The general anesthetics inhibit the rapid increase in the membrane permeability to the sodium ions. They block fast neurotransmitter-gated sodium channels. It is also reported that inhaled gaseous anesthetics increase the potassium outflow, thus causing hyperpolarization. This hyperpolarization leads to the decreased ability to initiate action potential. Molecular mechanism by which general anesthetics modify ion currents and neuronal membrane is not clearly understood, but appears to result from changes in the physical state of the membrane, neuronal membrane, which interferes with the normal functioning. For example, ability of the sodium channels to open rapidly. Recently, it is observed that most of the anesthetics directly activate GABA A receptors to increase chloride influx. Actions occurring at the synapse. The general anesthetics enhance inhibitory neurotransmission through GABA receptors, GABA A receptors. The ligand-gated chloride channels gated by the inhibitory GABA A receptor mediates the effects of GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, which is the major inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain. GABA A receptor is found throughout the CNS. It is located in the postsynaptic membrane. This receptor is a 4-transmembrane ion channel containing 5 subunits which are arranged around a central pole, 2 alpha units, 2 beta units, and 1 gamma subunit. Each of these subunits has nitrogen terminal extracellular chain which contains ligand binding site. 4 hydrophobic sections cross the membrane 4 times. 1 extracellular and 2 intracellular loops connect these regions, plus an extracellular C-terminal chain. This is the figure showing 2 alpha, 2 beta and 1 gamma subunits of the GABA A receptor. Now the receptor lies in the membrane of its neuron at the synapse. GABA, which is an endogenous compound, causes GABA receptor to open. The receptor is capable of binding two GABA molecules between an alpha and beta subunits. The binding of GABA causes a conformational change in the receptor by opening central pore through which the chloride ions pass down the electrochemical gradient, and the net effect is inhibition of the neuronal activity. Now coming to the classification of general anesthetic drugs on the basis of the route of administration. They are divided into inhalational agents and intravenous agents. Inhalational drugs are again divided into volatile liquids and gases. The volatile liquids include halothane and fluorine, isofluorine, sevofluorine, methoxyfluorine, disfluorine, diethyl ether, and chloroform. And gases include nitrous oxide and cyclopropane. The IV agents include thiopentone, sodium, ketamine, propofol, and other agents besides the pre-anesthetic medications, benzodiazepines, and etominet. The kinetics of the inhalational agents. The general anesthesia is divided. The kinetics of general anesthesia can be studied in these three steps: induction, maintenance, and recovery. Recovery from anesthesia is exactly opposite to induction. Now, the induction is the time period from the administration of anesthetic agent to the appearance of a stage of surgical anesthesia. Recovery is the time from the discontinuation of the drug administration up to the reaching conscious level. The induction depends upon how fast the effective levels of anesthetic agent reaches the brain, and recovery depends upon how fast anesthetic agent leaves the brain. Generally, when induction is rapid, the recovery is also rapid. The maintenance, which is the time period during which the patient is surgically anesthetized. It is the stage 3 of the anesthesia. Usually, stage of surgical anesthesia is maintained by inhalational general anesthetics because good minute-to-minute control over the depth of the anesthesia is possible with the use of the inhalational agents. The depth of anesthesia is determined by the concentration of the anesthetics in the CNS. And when an inhalational anesthetic agent is administered, it reaches the alveoli. From alveoli, it reaches the blood. From the blood, it is distributed to the tissues and particularly to the brain, which gives the effect of anesthesia. From brain, the drug, after producing the effect, goes back to the blood, then reaches the alveoli and is exhaled. Some part of the drug is metabolized in the liver, which is absorbed. Otherwise, major portion is eliminated by the exhalation. The movements of the general anesthetic agent within various parts of the body is influenced by various factors, including number 1, concentration of anesthetic agent in inspired gas, the pulmonary ventilation, the transfer of anesthetic from alveoli to the blood, and reverse is the transfer of anesthetic from blood again to the tissues. And the main tissue which gives us the function of anesthesia is the brain. The transfer of anesthetic from alveoli to the blood depends upon these three factors: the solubility of the drug in the blood, the pulmonary blood flow, and arteriovenous concentration gradient. Then the reverse transfer of the drug from the blood to the tissues also depends upon the solubility of the drug, then blood supply to the tissue, and arterial to tissue concentration gradient. Artery to tissue, the concentration gradient. Now coming to the elimination, major route of elimination of the inhaled general anesthetic agents is the lung. They get exhaled. Nearly all factors influencing movement of the anesthetic agent from alveoli to the blood and tissues affect the elimination of the anesthetic agent. After the drug is discontinued, recovery from anesthesia is dependent upon the solubility of the agent in the blood and tissues and the duration of the exposure to the anesthetic agent. Recovery is slow with the soluble agents than insoluble agents. If the exposure is brief, recovery may be rapid. After prolonged anesthesia, recovery may be delayed due to the accumulation of the anesthetic agents in muscle and fat. The anesthetic agents are metabolized in the body to a variable extent. With most of the agents, amount metabolized is slow. The 40% of halothane, 70% of methoxyfluorine, and less than 10% of the enfluorine are metabolized in the liver. The metabolism of anesthetic agents is not important for the termination of their effects but the metabolites of anesthetic agents may be toxic. Methoxyfluorine is metabolized at much faster rate than any other inhaled agent. It releases fluoride ions. So methoxyfluorine metabolite fluoride ions are nephrotoxic. Halothane is metabolized to trifluoroacetic acid. It is hepatotoxic. And metabolites of enfluorine are neurotoxic. The human tissues do not metabolize nitrous oxide. Only small fraction of dysfluorine is metabolized, otherwise it is exhaled. Particular term MEC. It is to be understood minimum alveolar concentration. MEC. The MEC is defined as the concentration of inhaled anesthetic agent at 1 atmospheric pressure that produces immobility in 50% of the patients are experimental animals which are exposed to noxious stimulus like incision. MEC is important to determine the potency of the drug. Higher the MEC value, lesser will be the potency of the anesthetic agent, and vice versa. MEC values decrease in elderly normally and by the other drugs like benzodiazepines and opioids, but are not affected by sex or weight or height of the patient. The methoxyfluorine is most potent drug among this group and has MEC value of 0.16%. MEC is expressed in percentage. The nitrous oxide is very weak anesthetic. It has MEC value of 105%. It is the relative value. The halothane has 0.75%, enfluorine 1.7%, isoflurane 1.4%, dysflurane 6 to 7%, sevoflurane 2%, and diethyl ether has the MEC value of 1.9%. Now coming to the effects on different body systems. The effects of general anesthetics. Effects on CVS, halothane, dysflurane, enflurane, sevoflurane, isoflurane. All these decrease mean arterial pressure. But halothane and enflurane decrease BP by decreasing cardiac output, and other agents decrease BP by decreasing peripheral resistance, and these have little effect on cardiac output. The halothane usually produces bradycardia, probably due to vagal stimulation. Enflurane, methoxyfluorine, sevoflurane have little effect on heart rate, and isoflurane and dysflurane can increase the heart rate. Halothane particularly sensitizes the heart myocardium to catecholamines and may produce cardiac arrhythmia. Other agents have comparatively little cardiac sensitizing effect and they are less arrhythmogenic than halothane. Effects on respiration. It is clear that all inhaled anesthetics are respiratory depressants. Degree of the depression varies with the agent used. Isoflurane and enflurane are potent respiratory depressants and nitrous oxide is weak. All inhaled general anesthetics increase partial pressure of carbon dioxide in arterial blood. The respiratory depressant effects are reduced by the assisting ventilation, mechanical ventilation during surgery. The effects on brain. All these inhaled agents decrease metabolic rate in brain and increase blood flow to brain and may increase intracranial pressure, and increase in the IOP is not desirable in patients with head injuries or patients undergoing cerebral surgery. Side effects of general anesthetics: hepatotoxicity caused by halothane and chloroform, nephrotoxicity by methoxyfluoride and sevoflurane, neurotoxicity by enflurane, and malignant hyperthermia by halothane mainly. This malignant hyperthermia is found in genetically predisposed persons. It is characterized by hyperthermia, severe muscle rigidity, hypertension, tachycardia, hyperkalemia, and acid-base disturbance. The specific biochemical abnormality is free calcium ions in muscle cells. It is observed mainly with halothane, and it is treated by the administration of the drug dantrolene. Now, coming to the clinical uses of inhaled general anesthetics, these drugs are rarely used alone. They are mainly preferably used in combination of an inhaled agent and an IV agent. The combination is called balanced anesthesia. The nitrous oxide, disflurane, isoflurane, and sevoflurane are commonly used inhalation of general anesthetic agents. Now, cyclopropane and diethyl ether are not used nowadays because of their inflammable and explosive nature. Methoxyflurane is occasionally used. It's rarely used because of its nephrotoxic potential. Now is switching over to the properties of the individual inhalational general anesthetic agents. Starting with halothane, it is colorless, volatile, non-irritant and non-inflammable liquid with sweet smell. It is safe anesthetic in trained hands. Its advantages include being a potent anesthetic agent. It is non-irritant and non-inflammable. Induction and recovery with halothane are smooth and rapid. Produces bronchodilation by direct relaxing effect on the bronchial smooth muscle. It does not augment salivary or bronchial secretions, and cough is observed rarely with halothane than ether. The incidence of postoperative nausea and vomiting is present but low. The disadvantages of halothane include inadequate muscle relaxation by halothane. So, an additional muscle relaxant agent may be needed during surgery. It is poor analgesic as well. It produces severe, often fatal hepatitis as the side effect, which occurs more commonly in patients who are repeatedly anesthetized with halothane within shorter period of time. Halothane also produces myocardial depression and hypotension. It sensitizes the heart to the adrenaline and other catecholamines. The shivering during recovery is common with halothane. It is expensive. It can produce malignant hyperthermia. Its use requires a special and complicated apparatus. The contraindications of halothane include the history of jaundice following previous exposure to halothane. Also, raised intracranial pressure, pregnancy, history of malignant hyperthermia, and liver disease are the contraindications of halothane. The precaution is taken as the halothane should never be repeated at interval less than 3 months. Therefore, the patient's anesthetic history should be obtained before surgery. The side effects of halothane include cardiac arrhythmia, myocardial depression, hypotension, hepatitis, fever with shivering, and malignant hyperthermia. Second drug, inhalational agent, enflurane. It is a volatile, non-irritant, non-inflammable liquid with sweet smell. It produces similar anesthesia as halothane, except muscle relaxation is better with this drug, enflurane. Muscle relaxant activity of enflurane is caused by the actions in CNS at the postjunctional membranes of the neuromuscular junction. It is not reversed by the neostigmine. It produces hypotension, myocardial depression, and sensitizes the heart to adrenaline, but to the lesser extent than halothane. It is less potent than halothane, Liver damage is rare but produces neurotoxicity manifested probably with convulsions. And isoflurane, it is volatile, non-inflammable liquid with pungent smell that irritates airways during induction. Isoflurane produces similar anesthesia as halothane except muscle relaxation with this drug is also better than halothane. It produces hypotension, myocardial depression and sensitizes the myocardium to adrenaline but to much lesser extent than halothane. It is less potent than halothane. It produces induction of anesthesia in less than 10 minutes. Hepatic and renal toxicity is not reported with isoflurane. Then methoxyflurane, another inhalational agent, it is also volatile, non-irritant and non-inflammable liquid with sweet smell. It is more potent than halothane, produces adequate analgesia and muscle relaxation. So it is better. Then it produces hypotension, myocardial depression and sensitizes heart to adrenaline action as well, but lesser than halothane. Liver damage is rare with methoxyflurane but produces nephrotoxicity by the metabolite synthesis of fluoride ion. It is soluble in blood, therefore both induction and recovery are slow with methoxyflurane. It may take 20 minutes for induction. It is generally used as maintenance agent, not the inducing agent. And the induction is done by some other agent like nitrous oxide or thiopental sodium. The other drug, disflurane, the inhalational agent, it differs chemically from isoflurane only in fluorine atom that is substituted for chloride atom. This drug has low solubility in blood and tissues, therefore it is rapid acting, but it is less potent. It is less volatile, therefore high vapor pressure and complex vaporizer is needed for its administration. It is non-inflammable and irritating drug. It is not used for induction of anesthesia because of its irritant properties. It can produce profound depression of ventilation and it is also expensive. Sevoflurane, it is another inhalational general anesthetic which is non-inflammable, non-irritant. Sevoflurane is degraded by contact with carbon dioxide absorbent used in anesthetic machine to yield vinyl ether. It produces vinyl ether called compound A, and this compound A is nephrotoxin. Sevoflurane is more soluble in blood, more potent and is more metabolized than disflurane. The diethyl ether. Diethyl ether, it was first general anesthetic introduced. At present it is rarely used. It is colorless, highly volatile, highly irritating and flammable liquid. The ether had the advantages of being safer even in untrained hands, as it has a high therapeutic index than other general anesthetics. It is potent analgesic as well. It produces satisfactory skeletal muscle relaxation. It is very cheap and does not require complex apparatus for its administration. It is devoid of hepatotoxicity. It does not alter BP, does not sensitize myocardium to adrenaline action. So it has many properties, but its inflammable nature restricts its use in clinical practice nowadays. Its disadvantages: slow induction and recovery. It is highly flammable and explosive. Therefore, diathermy is contraindicated when ether is used. It produces respiratory irritation and laryngospasm. It also increases secretions. Nausea and vomiting occur commonly during recovery from anesthesia. And the precautions taken during ether used is the disothermy should not be used, and ether should cautiously be given in pregnancy. And nitrous oxide, it is the gaseous inhalational agent. It is colorless, non-irritant gas with sweet smell. It is also called laughing gas. It is very famous, and some movies are also found on this laughing gas. Its advantages include potent analgesia, the rapid and smooth induction and recovery. It is safe agent as it has no deleterious effects on circulation, respiration, heart, liver, and kidneys. It is non-irritant, non-inflammable. The nausea and vomiting is also less common during recovery after nitrous oxide use. The disadvantage of nitrous oxide include its expensiveness. It is weak, anesthetic, and must be supplemented by other potent analgesic agent to achieve surgical anesthesia. It produces inadequate muscle relaxation. Special and complex apparatus is needed for its use, and it may produce diffusion hypoxia because it is a gas, so it can be inhaled, and it can leave lesser space for the oxygen. So the continuous oxygen administration with nitrous oxide use is necessary. And that's all for this class.